A day ahead of the bail hearing of ISKCON monk Chinmoy Krishna Das, his lawyer has been attacked in Bangladesh. Apparently, he is battling for life. Chinmoy Krishna Das's case will be heard tomorrow, but the lawyer who was defending him has now been attacked. The ISKCON spokesperson says that the lawyer's house was ransacked and attacked. The lawyer, Ramen Roy, is in ICU now. Let's listen into this report from our colleague Saurabh Gupta.
If we were to go by the statement of Vice President and spokesperson of ISKCON Kolkata, Advocate Ramen Roy, who was defending Chinmoy Krishna Das in court, according to Radharaman Das, he says, Islamists attacked his home, ransacked his home and brutally attacked him, leaving him in the ICU fighting for his life. Now, the exact timing of the attack is not known, but it is presumed that, it would have been between the last hearing and now. And this is, of course, something that is indicative of what's going on in Bangladesh, and that it is almost like a free-for-all where, the minority community, the Hindu community is constantly under attack. And, of course, ISKCON, which is a religious body, but also engaged in a lot of philanthropic and relief work and has a large base in Bangladesh, is also under attack. So this is something that, of course, is now in the public domain with Radharaman Das, who is, of course, put out the statement saying, please pray for Advocate Ramen Roy. His only fault was defending Chinmoy Krishna Das in court.
Now, all Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha MPs have agreed to hold a debate on the Constitution next week, days after chaotic sessions over the issue. The breakthrough came today after an all-party meeting with Speaker Om Birla. The debate on the Constitution will be held on 13th and 14th of December in Lok Sabha and 16th and 17th of December in Rajya Sabha. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju told reporters outside the Parliament. On the opposition raising other issues such as Sambal violence and Manipur, Mr. Rijiju said a decision will be taken in accordance with the rules. These issues have led to constant adjournments of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha since the session began on 25th of November. Some opposition parties, especially the Trinamool Congress, want Parliament to discuss a host of different issues, including unemployment and price rise as well.
जो बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमेटी में संविधान पे चर्चा होने का प्रस्ताव था, उसको सरकार ने मंजूरी दिया है। हम लोग 13 और 14 फ्राइडे सैटरडे को संविधान पे चर्चा होगी। लोकसभा में पहले हम लोग चर्चा करेंगे। फ्राइडे है 13 तारीख और 14 सैटरडे पड़ता है, तो हम फ्राइडे को भी चर्चा करेंगे और सैटरडे को भी पूरा दिन बहस करेंगे। ये हमने एक तरीके से सबने मान लिया है। उसके बाद 16 और 17 को राज्यसभा में संविधान पर चर्चा होगा।
It has been decided to run the house from tomorrow properly, and then the discussion on the Constitution of India will be held on 13th and 14th. Maybe 14th or 13th on 16th.
In Lok Sabha only?
In Lok Sabha. They are going to hold a meeting in there also. Rajya Sabha also they are going to hold.
Both were agree for the run the...
on this, yeah. Everybody agreed to that.
Well, after the complete washout for the 5 straight days of winter session of Parliament, it seems like some sense have prevailed to the Member of Parliament who had now agreed to end the Lok Jam of the Parliament, because it was at 3 p.m. when Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla called the floor leaders to his chambers, and there was deliberations that happened between the Treasury benches and the opposition MPs as well, as the opposition MPs want to have a constructive debate on the Constitution of India as well, and it was the Lok Sabha Speaker who had agreed to the demand. We have been told that on 13th and 14th of December, it would be in Lok Sabha where there would be discussion on the Constitution, and on 16th and 17th of December, it would be in the Rajya Sabha where there would be discussion in over the Constitution of India. it was also agreed in this particular meeting that Samajwadi Party can raise the issue of Sambal as far as the zero question hour is concerned. On the other side, in zero question hour, the Trinamool Congress had raised that they want to take up the issue of Bangladesh as well, and that was also agreed. Tomorrow, in all likelihood, there would be some functioning of the House that one can see both in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as well. But certainly, the government is in a view that they want discussions to be done as far as the legislative bills are concerned. There are some important bills that needs to be tabled for consideration and passing because that are something which are of public interest. There could be again tomorrow where we can see External Affairs Minister Jaishankar who can give a statement on the current situation of between India and China over LAC as well. So probably there would be some constructive debate that we can see from tomorrow, and the logjam that was there for last 5 days in the parliament that can end as well.
So, Tamil Nadu has been battered by heavy rainfall since the weekend after cyclone Fenjol crossed the coast near state capital Chennai. A landslide in Tiruvannamalai claimed the lives of 4 individuals, including a young boy. Their bodies were recovered during a search operation using earth-moving equipment. The rescue efforts faced great challenges due to persistent heavy rain since morning. Heavy rains and floods continue to pound several parts of the state and union territory. Tamil Nadu's Krishnagiri district was one of the worst hit in the last 2 days, with several vehicles being dragged from a road into low-lying areas. Visuals showed massive floodwaters at the Uthangiri bus station in Krishnagiri as several buses and other vehicles were submerged. Some buses and cars can also be seen swept away slowly in the rapidly flowing floodwaters. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has written to PM Modi seeking 2,000 crore rupees relief fund for the flood-affected state.
பேச விடலையே, அலோ பண்ணலையே. நாங்கள் முறைப்படி எங்களுடைய கடமை எவ்வளோ சேதாரம் ஏற்பட்டிருக்கு, எவ்வளோ நிவாரணப் பணிகள் ஈடுபட்டிருக்கிறோம் நாங்கள் தெரியும் உங்களுக்கு. அது மக்கள் எவ்வளவு பாதிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறாங்க, விவசாயத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எப்படிப்பட்ட சூழ்நிலை ஏற்பட்டிருக்கு, தண்ணியில் மூழ்கிருக்கு, அதெல்லாம் கணக்கெடுத்து நிச்சயமாக அனுப்பிச்சி வைப்போம். அது எங்களுடைய கடமை, அது செய்ய வேண்டியது அவங்களுடைய கடமை. ஆனால் செய்ய ஒவ்வொருத்தையும் அவங்க மறுத்துட்டு தான் இருக்கிறாங்க. இருந்தாலும் அதையும் மீறி நாங்கள் செஞ்சுட்டு தான் இருக்கிறோம். பார்ப்போம்.
Switching tracks to Maharashtra politics now. It's been 9 days since the NDA or Mahayuti swept the Maharashtra elections. But even now, no chief minister has been announced, indicating challenges between alliance partners BJP and Shinde Shiv Sena. Meanwhile, BJP leader Girish Mahajan met Eknath Shinde at his residence in Thane and claimed that all is well in Mahayuti. He ruled out any differences between the alliance. Girish Mahajan said that decision on portfolios will be decided at a higher level. The BJP today named Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and ex-Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani as observers for a meeting of its newly elected Maharashtra MLAs, at which the issue of the next Chief Minister may be settled. Devendra Fadnavis, two-time former Chief Minister, is widely seen as the front-runner for the post. Eknath Shinde seems to be playing hardball, even visiting his village in the middle, but may have come around. Another rumour was that his son would be made the Deputy Chief Minister, something Shrikant Shinde has denied.
माननीय एकनाथ जी शिंदे साहब 4-5 दिन से बीमार थे, इसलिए मैं उनकी तबीयत की पूछताछ करने यहाँ पर उनके घर आया था। करीब 1 घंटा सवा घंटा हम लोग साथ में बैठे, पूरी बातचीत हमारी वहाँ पर हुई है। 5 तारीख की तैयारी के बारे में भी उन्होंने मुझसे कुछ बातें की, मैंने भी उनसे कुछ कहा अवगत कराया, क्योंकि बाहर ही नहीं आए थे। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि 5 तारीख का कार्यक्रम हमारा ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रम में ऊपर होगा। देश भर से सभी नेता, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, अमित भाई है, नड्डा जी है, सभी नेता यहाँ पर आएंगे और बड़े धूमधाम से ये कार्यक्रम मनाया जाएगा।
Official announcement yet on who the chief minister is going to be, but the BJP has scheduled its legislative party meeting on December 4th. Perhaps after that there will be a formal announcement. Of course, Sena and NCP held its legislative party meeting, selected the leaders of legislative party of the respective parties as well. Now, the BJP is set to select its leader. In most likelihood, it will be Devendra Fadnavis, and in most likelihood, he could be the chief minister. But all that will become clear after that meeting on December 4. Central observers have been appointed from Delhi. They will be making their way to Maharashtra, to Mumbai, preside over the meetings, will hold discussions, after which perhaps an official declaration may happen. Of course, BJP has scheduled the oath-taking ceremony on December 5, but a lot of differences need to be ironed out before that. Eknath Shinde was in his hometown. He's returned to Thane, to his residence. He continues to be unwell, is what we are hearing, but hard negotiations going on. Of course, Eknath Shinde continues to maintain that he is in support of what the BJP really decides, and there are no disputes or differences, but he certainly is playing hardball in terms of getting the prime portfolios.
Time now for a quick break on the show. More on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Amid President-elect Donald Trump's threat to impose 100% tariff on BRICS nations, including India, if they undermine the US dollar or replace it for international transactions, NDTV's Gauri Dwivedi spoke with South Africa's Minister of Tourism, Patricia de Lille. They discussed pressing global issues such as the future of BRICS, Trump's tariff threat, climate change, the G20, and much more. Listen into this exclusive conversation.
I am in conversation with Ms. Patricia de Lille, who is the Minister of Tourism for Government of South Africa. We are talking at a time when there is enough and more happening when it comes to Global South and when it comes to BRICS as well. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out the time and speaking to NDTV.
Great pleasure, thank you.
India and South Africa are both very important members of the Global South, and Global South has some very important issues, climate being one of them, one of the most important. And the COP summit really proved that. In your assessment, how do you see the India-South Africa relationship ties, especially when it comes to climate, and can they become a leader when it comes to Global South, showing the way for some of the other countries around the world?
No, we're certainly on the side of India when it comes to climate change. And of course, India is correct in saying that it is not the developing nations, the Global South, that are responsible for climate change. All the so-called developed countries built their riches and their wealth on fossil fuels, cheap fossil fuels. Yes. And so we as a developing South have to pay for that. And it's not fair. It was not caused by the Global South. And of course, the peanuts that is being offered by the developed world to mitigate the impact of climate change on the whole world, it's ludicrous, it's ridiculous. After having caused the problem, then say to the developing nations in the Global South, that you must go and fix it. So South Africa fully support the stance of India when it comes to climate change issues.
South Africa now has the presidency of the G20. What are the key areas that South Africa wants to focus on in the G20? What about it, whether it is the focus on Global South, whether it is the focus on technology for developing countries, what is it that is going to be the key focus for South Africa in its G20 presidentship?
Just last week, Tuesday and Wednesday in South Africa, South Africa and India came together to look at a just transition from fossil fuels to renewable energies and look at solutions as to how we can mitigate it. So when it comes to climate change issues, there's a very good relationship. But with us assuming the G20 chairpersonship, we're also taking forward the legacies of Indonesia, of India and Brazil when they were leading the G20 nations. We will be continue to build on that. And you know, as we invite all the G20 nations to our country in 2025, we can't wait. You know, South Africans are very warm-hearted people. We can't wait to welcome all the G20 members to our shores. But we also encourage people to stay and continue to explore the beauty of South Africa. So it's a very exciting year awaiting us in South Africa.
In terms of your view with regard to BRICS, another very important multilateral institution, a platform where many countries are now wanting to be a part of, how do you see it, its potential, its outlook, given the challenges that the world is facing and the headwinds that exist right now?
Let me start with the G20. It's under the leadership of India, of the G20 leadership, that they came with a resolution to accept the African Union as a full member of the G20. And we want to thank India for that. And the BRICS partners represent millions of people in the global south. And again, it's an important platform to make sure that we look at how we trade amongst ourselves first. And that trade is growing. If you can see that India is our biggest partner in Asia, trading with South Africa and many other countries in Africa. We must, as the global south, as the G20, as BRICS, economic growth must be key on our agenda, inclusive economic growth, so that we deal with all the challenges that we face, like poverty, inequality.
I must ask you about the BRICS currency, its outlook amidst the commentary that's come in from President-elect Donald Trump, who's very categorically said that he's not going to allow anybody or any possibility of an alternate currency arrangement that may challenge or threaten the dominance of the US dollar. How do you see the prospects of the economic arrangement that the BRICS countries have really been talking about and have progressed much on, as well as on the BRICS currency?
Well, there's already an existing agreement that the BRICS currency, amongst ourselves as the BRICS nations, we will trade in our own currency. It is definitely give us value for money, and that has been happening. The debate about whether the BRICS countries want to shift to the dollarization of that, it's not on the agenda. What is on the agenda is that we want to trade as BRICS countries in our own currencies amongst ourselves, and nobody can stop us because it's to the benefit of the nations of the global south.
Sarbal Baltal in Sonmarg area of Ganderbal district received a fresh spell of snowfall this evening, turning the area into a winter wonderland. Take a look. Well, that's all we could pack into this bulletin. Thanks for watching.